You are mid-sentence and it's gone. The word, the thought, just gone. Or maybe you're reading the same paragraph for the fourth time and none of it is sticking. You walk into a room and you've no idea why you're there. If this sounds familiar, then stick with me because today we're going to be talking about a peptide called Semax. It's been clinically studied in Russia for over 30 years, and the research and what it can do to the brain is genuinely fascinating. We're going to look at the actual studies and translate them into plain English, starting with what is Semax. Semax is a synthetic heptapeptide. That means it's a chain of 7 amino acids. Russian researchers designed it by taking a piece of natural brain hormone, engineering it to last longer in the body and stripping out everything that could cause hormonal disruption. The result is something that works on the brain specifically without messing with your cortisol, your adrenal system, or your hormones. Since the 90s, Semax has been approved in Russia for treating stroke and cognitive impairment, typically administered as a nasal spray. It has decades of clinical use behind it. It's just that most of the research happened in Russia, which is partly why it hasn't broken through mainstream medicine just yet. So what does it actually do? There are 5 key mechanisms, and the first relates to BDNF. Semax increases levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a vital protein that supports neuroplasticity, learning, and long-term memory formation. Think of BDNF as fertiliser for your neurons. It helps brain cells grow, survive, form new connections, and repair themselves. Without enough of it, your brain becomes less adaptable. Learning gets harder, memory suffers, and recovery from injury slows. Semax increases BDNF levels in the brain by up to 800% in animal models and produces measurable improvements in human cognitive performance, including attention, memory consolidation, and stress resilience. Human studies show more modest but still meaningful increases. Semax increases BDNF protein by approximately 1.4 times and BDNF mRNA by approximately 3 times, promoting the conditions for neuroplasticity, memory consolidation, and new synapse formation. The second mechanism relates to dopamine and serotonin production. Semax improves how dopamine and serotonin circuits handle their messengers, reduces inflammatory activity that causes brain fog, and buffers the stress response without suppressing it. Dopamine is your focus, motivation, and drive neurotransmitter. Serotonin is your mood stability and emotional resilience neurotransmitter. If either of those are dysregulated, you really do feel it. Unlike stimulants, which force immediate release of neurotransmitter reserves, creating spikes followed by depletion, Semax gradually changes receptor sensitivity and gene expression, building infrastructure rather than dumping chemicals. There's no sudden activation, but over days there is clearer thinking, easier focus, no jitteriness, tolerance, or crash. The third mechanism is related to neuroinflammation. Semax suppresses pro-inflammatory cytokines in the brain. Neuroinflammation is one of the most underappreciated drivers of brain fog and cognitive fatigue, and this mechanism addresses it directly. This is something most people don't think about, that brain fog very often has an inflammatory component. It's not just hormones, it's not just tiredness, there's actual chemical inflammation in the brain that disrupts signaling. Semax targets this directly. The fourth mechanism is around cerebral blood flow. Semax has been shown to increase blood flow and oxygenation in the brain tissue, improving cognitive efficiency and mental clarity. Your brain is an extraordinarily hungry organ. It consumes about 20% of your body's energy. Poor blood flow means less oxygen, less glucose delivery to neurons, and you feel that as fatigue, brain fog, and slow thinking. The fifth mechanism is neuroprotection. Research using stroke models found that Semax supported nerve growth, with studies indicating accelerated recovery from mild to moderate traumatic brain injury, improved cognitive function restoration following head trauma, and enhanced neuroplasticity. Semax isn't a magic bullet, nothing is, but it is a serious compound with serious science behind it, and it deserves to be in the conversation of peptides. There are a few areas that Semax could prove really interesting if studied, and those include perimenopause and menopause, ADHD, and post-brain injury or concussion. If you want me to do a deep dive episode specifically on any of those topics, or if you want me to look at Semax stacks, pairing it with things like Salank, BPC 157, or any other peptide, let me know in the comments. As always, do your research and advocate for yourself.